Hi there. Welcome to You Were There, where we bring you stories of changed lives made possible by your partnership with the Christian Broadcasting Network. So glad you could join us. Now, sacrifice means a number of things to a number of people. To some, it's an offering. To others, it's giving up something of value. To the lady you're about to meet, it's an act that went beyond giving to changing her life forever. You're going to want to see this.
Have you ever given up something really precious just to make another person happy? I would understand the true meaning of sacrifice later in life after an experience with my best friend Chioma. One description of Chioma Ibn would be that she's an epitome of true love and sacrifice. We met when we were 10 years old back in junior secondary school, and we connected instantly. We did everything together. We ate together, we played together, we walked home together, and we also belonged to the same sports team. Once we had a home economics assignment to do. We were told to make several objects with paper mache, and the condition was given that if we didn't have it submitted in due time, we will be flogged 6 times on our bum. So the due date had come. I had procrastinated. I dreaded being flogged 6 times on my bum. But I got to school that day, and I saw everyone's, or everybody had made several objects, and it just heightened my anxiety. I also saw what Chioma had made, and I admired it too, So it came time for our teacher to rate us, but before she did that, she called out the names of those who hadn't submitted. I bowed my head, waiting for my name to be called. But it wasn't called. I looked up in shock when Chioma's name was called instead. I was like, hello ma'am, you have the wrong name, what's happening? I turned to Chioma and she looked at me and she said, don't worry. And she walked forward to be flogged. And with each whip, she let out a cry. When she came back to her seat, I just held her and then we just cried together. But I needed to know what happened, so during the break, I went to the table where all the homework was piled. And I saw that Chioma had cleaned her name from her homework and had written my name instead. I didn't even know how to say thank you, so I just looked at her and I just cried again. But in the years to come, I would keep wondering, why did Chioma give up something of hers to take what would have been my pain? It helped me understand further what Jesus meant when he said, greater love has no man than this, than a man who will lay down his life for his friend. But it just kept baffling me because we were only 10 years old, like we were children. How would a child know to give up what was so precious? Over the years, Chioma's sacrifice of love will help me understand how to be present for others. It's one reason I am incredibly grateful for the opportunity to partner with the 700 Club. It's an opportunity to give up my little to see another child have lunch, to see a whole village have clean water to drink, to see a child who would have grown up looking ugly have their lips fixed. That thing I think is so little is somebody's abundance, and I encourage you to become a partner with the 700 Club. Nothing is too small.
Can you wrap your mind around that? A little girl took the pain her friend deserved. That's a whole new level of sacrifice. And look at how much impact that singular act had on the receiver. It changed her life forever. Question, how far have you gone in making a sacrifice? What are you willing to give up to change your life forever? If a child could, so can you. And a great place to start is partnering with the Christian Broadcasting Network. Here we make the sacrifice needed to save as many lives as we can, just like the story you're about to see.
Over the years, the Christian Broadcasting Network has traversed all regions of English West Africa, giving assistance to people in need. No terrain is too rough, and no river is too wide. The CBN humanitarian team will go anywhere to deliver the message of God's love. Usually, the journey takes hours, tiring out the team members and reducing the amount of time they would spend on locations. Recently, things are looking up. Angel Flight Club is coming into the picture.
Angel Flight Club is a service organization that assists missionary organization with air transportation to remote areas.
After weeks of planning, the CBN Africa medical team, in collaboration with Angel Flight Club and Equa Church in Plateau State, is visiting the villages on Monkin Hills in Taraba State, northeast Nigeria. The villages on the hills are home to various tribes, but it takes only the brave and the strong to go up the hills. Because of the terrain, getting help to the tribes on the hills is a big task. That is the challenge this collaboration with Angel Flight Club will solve. The over 10-hour dangerous mountain hike will be reduced to a 10-minute plane shuttle.
For people to go up the hill, they say you go up there about 10.5 hours by foot. It's something to go and see and really appreciate the sacrifices that these missionaries are doing for the gospel.
The pilot weaves through the mountains, searching out the runway that was last used almost 60 years ago by early missionaries. Monkin is in sight, and the pilot circles for a closer look. He doesn't like the condition of the runway and decides to abort the flight. It's mission impossible for now. Back in Jalingo, gloom descends on everyone. But the team leaders make a quick decision. The team will proceed by road to Gempu at the base of the mountains. After 4 hours and a winding trip through Zing, the team takes a short break at Monkin for some refreshment. Some people might just be considering swapping lab coats and stethoscopes for aprons and cooking spoons. Not a bad idea. Back on the trail, this time through some very rough terrains. When you are traveling on this kind of surface, emergency stops are never too far away. In quick order, the spare tire is in place and the trip is back on track. Finally, Gempu, a rustic village of a few hundred people. Monkin is 10 hours away, but the team can't hike up the mountains with all the medical supplies. This will be the location for the medical outreach. We are right here in Gempu in Taraba State, where CBN Africa, in collaboration with the Angel Flight Club, are having a medical mission for the locals here. So far, hundreds of people have turned up for their free treatment. Yesterday, about 165 people were treated. Today, we expect that 100 or hundreds more will be treated. Grace Danladi works hard to take care of her family. Like the other women in Gempu, getting water for domestic use is a daily chore. Grace also transports her local brew to the market to make some money. This takes a toll on her health, but there is no functional health facility close by. The little money she makes is not enough to travel with to the city for treatment. When Grace heard that the CBN team was in the village, she knew she would get help for her medical conditions.
I received free treatment today. I am very grateful.
In 2 days, the team has treated about 500 people and carried out about 7 surgeries. Yusuf Mako is a community leader in Gempu and a beneficiary of the free medical treatment.
I wish there was a better word that I could say, but I am grateful to God and CBN for bringing this free treatment.
Raymond Saleh is a pastor in Gempu. He also expresses the minds of his people.
The people are truly happy and have expressed their joy. This free treatment has been of great help, and your coming has brought so much relief. Thank you, CBN.
The free medical intervention is about to end. The initial plan was to visit communities on the Monkin Hills, but Gempu has become the inadvertent beneficiary of our effort. Some of the CBN team members and partners share their thoughts.
All things work together for good. Because when we came to Gempu, the medical team also had some surgeries and gave drugs to and they were very happy that we couldn't go to Donkey and they got it. So I think it's a successful trip.
I'm praying that God will raise not just CBN, but many other organizations that could partner with us to come to a place like this, because they're really in serious need.
Just to reach an isolated community, they were willing to fly through uncharted territory. And when they couldn't make it in, the team chose to help another community with the same needs. Thank you, CBN partners, for saving numerous lives near and far. May God show up for you in the hour of your desperate need. Don't go anywhere. You Were There will be right back.
From tough terrains to deep waters, bringing hope and laughter to homes and communities. Thank you, CBN partners, for helping Martha, who was almost going blind as a result of cooking over smoky fires. She had no hope for a better life until CBN gave her a pair of glasses and a brand new business. Now she can look forward to a bright future. The people of Buckinriga village are also grateful to CBN for digging a brand new water well right at the center of their village. Now, the days of lack are over. Thank you, CBN partners, for putting smiles in people's faces.
Thank you for staying with us. Dr. Da has been a voluntary doctor with the CBN Africa humanitarian team for over 15 years. He shares the reason behind his devoted heart to service in this next piece.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming here and for being on the show. You Were There.
My pleasure.
Okay, so I know that you wear many hats.
Okay.
I don't want to start, but you can help us to remove some of them. Just get to meet you. I know what you do.
Okay. My name is Talemo Wycliffe Da, and I'm obstetrician and gynecologist. That's I treat women for a living.
Okay.
I have a small hospital that is called Gibona Women's Hospital. I also consult at Federal Medical Center, Kefi. I run an NGO that is called Soteria Afrique, Rural Healthcare Initiative, that takes healthcare to the rural people. And I consult for some international organizations. That's what I do.
That's plenty. That's not small. Anyways, I know that you do have this long-term relationship with CBN. Can you let us into your journey and your experience so far?
Maybe 15, 16 years ago, some points that can easily come to memory is when we joined CBN to carry out an outreach at Child Care Trust in Bari, where we spent about 10 days, so like 7,500 people. It was a very good time because people came together and were very zealous. We saw people sleeping there so they can get to see us. People coming from Niger, Kaduna, FCT, and that was a very great collaboration. And since after that, we've had several other collaborations with CBN. And usually either Mr. Elisha or Reverend Kalma, one of them will call and say, hey, are you free? When I'm free, I join them. And other times, maybe I've invited them a few times so we can collaborate and carry out some outreaches. Generally speaking, my driving force for missions is the fact that, one, if I look at my hands, I ask myself, what do you have? Like God asked Moses, what do you have? He said he had a rod. A rod could hit something, so he said, hit the water. If I look at my hands, I have a medical training, and I know I can meet the need of others. And that informed my formation of the non-governmental organization Soteria Afrique Rural Healthcare Initiative. I noticed that I can get to the people who are well-to-do. Their own problems, they want to self-actualize, they want to give back to God, they want to thank God, they want to give back to the community. I can solve those problems by solving the health security needs of the people who are poor. So that's the strategy that I use. Another major driving force is the fact that, well, by God's grace, I'm a child of God. And I have a feeling we're in the end time. And I feel I should positively key into the things happening in the end time.
Are there times where you had a choice to make between using your resources to reach out to people, which is your passion, and meeting your own personal need? What choice did you make, and why?
That choice happens all the time. I do not have a very strong, booming business that supplies my resources, and I don't always have sponsors coming by. But if I stay up to 6 months without going for an outreach, I really feel sick. And so I will gather resources at all costs. Yeah, a few times I had to borrow, so that I can come pay back. But most times, yes, there is this lingering thing about choice. Choice of things to do in the household, things to do, new things to buy. But you have to press it down to go get this one done with quickly.
So have there been times in your life doing what you've been passionate about that you have been faced with this obstacle, this challenge, and you really thought about letting go? Like, this is it. This is the end. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah. Sometimes towards the last quarter of last year, I was really having discussions on the inside. Are you going to continue this kind of thing? Aren't you going to use your resources to do certain things you have not done, and so on? I really was having those discussions within myself. And one day, I was exhausted around 8 p.m. and I was told, hey, you have visitors coming to your house. He said he has something for me to tell me. And then he said, look, that he wanted to tell me that I should know that it is by virtue of my going to their village that he stopped worshiping idols to worship Christ.
Wow.
That he needed to let me know about that.
Wow.
And that he would have still been an idol worshiper. And that I should also know that many people in that village were in his same condition. That it is because I was going to their village for outreach. That because I went to their village for outreach. He told me that that his village was not known before, but that I have put the village on the map. That the villages around are asking, how comes I pass their villages and go deep, deep, deep to a village that is very remote and begin to help them in many ways. For him, maybe he was just expressing gratitude. But for me, it was a message. I think God prepared him in the village and sent him to come tell me that, hey, you're not going to stop. You don't think that your efforts are useless. Yeah. I mean, to know that somebody tells you that I came to know Christ because you came. I mean, that's all I'm looking for. That's all I want to hear, I want to do. So I think that energized me. So there were times when I asked myself, are you sure I'm going to continue? But this testimony I've given was a major thing in my life, that look, you must go on. You can't stop.
Yeah.
Let the motivation be that God, I don't know why God is asking me to do this, but I know CBN does work for God. CBN reaches out to the people I cannot ordinarily reach, and so I can give to them.
And I want to say to everybody or anyone who is watching right now that life actually, you feel the value of life when you start to live for something bigger than you. And like Dr. Dad just said in the house, that sometimes what you give will cost you something. It's called sacrifice. If you're willing, it's something that will require you maybe forgoing something that you love doing, pleasure, maybe that shawarma that you like eating every weekend. Trust me, if you give up that money to help a child find a meal per day, you have done something for humanity. I want to encourage you to look within. What is it that you have in your hands? You can give it out. You can make another life better. It's not about you, and it's not about what you can give, but it's about the heart to give. Thank you again, sir, for coming.
Thank you. My pleasure.
It's such a great privilege to have you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Da, for deciding to live life beyond yourself. And thank you to every CBN partner for using every opportunity to be a blessing to others. We are so grateful for your partnership. We know the lives you've touched. Continually say a prayer for you. God bless you. Like you just heard, what's that thing you have in your hand? No matter how little, you can use it in the service of others and watch how much more fulfilling your life becomes. Up next, CBN partners rescue a woman in a fight for survival.
Victoria grows just enough yams to feed her family. But a health challenge made it impossible for her to live her normal life.
I still go to farm because there is nothing I can do. I don't have anybody that will help me in the farm.
When the pain became unbearable, Victoria knew she needed to see a doctor, but she could not afford the cost of a hospital visit.
Since I don't have money to go to the hospital and treat myself, I went and do traditional medicine, but it didn't help me.
Just when she thought there was nowhere else to turn to, Victoria heard that the CBN medical team was coming to her village to provide free healthcare services.
I heard it from one of my neighbors that CBN is coming to help people. So I knew very well that my problem will solve, even though I don't have money.
Victoria saw a doctor and a medical test revealed she had severe malaria and typhoid. She received drugs at no cost to her family because CBN partners paid for it. Soon, she was back on her feet. Victoria can now live her normal life, free from pains and sicknesses.
Thank you for restoring Victoria's health. Now she can be the wife and mother she always wanted to be because you stepped in. Now this and many more are the things you make happen when you decide to partner with the Christian Broadcasting Network. With a monthly gift ranging from 1,000 Naira to 84,000 Naira or a one-time donation of any amount, you give hurting hearts a reason to believe. You give communities clean drinking water. You carry out free medical outreaches in rural areas. You empower widows and youths who would have given up. You keep our impactful programs on the air and so much more. If that's a yes, it's a simple process to begin. Just log onto our website and complete the partnership form or call any of the numbers on your screen and we'll be waiting to talk with you. Do it now. You Were There continues after this break.
You were there when the water flowed and the children danced for joy. You were there when the doctors came and saved their little boy. You were there to speak the truth.
Thank you, CBN partners, for making a difference around the world. Your gift of love has changed life and eternity for millions.
When hurting hearts reach out and cry, does anybody care? You were the one who brought the gift. Thank God that you were there.
God wants us to be blessed so that we can bless others. What do you have in your hand? And how can you bless another man in your neighborhood, school, at work, and wherever you find yourself? Don't hesitate. Just do it. Remember, we're all rooting for you all the way. See you next week.